It's currently the 12th of May. It's another week, another one of these episodes. Um, what's this? I guess this is a table. Maybe I need to move this up a slight bit. Oh, there you go. No, a bit up. So slightly. There you go. Yeah, it's been a long week. Long week. Lots of learnings. Lots of ups, lots of downs. 2 days ago, I completely crashed and crumbled. I was literally just like mentally like broken, and I was just like breaking down to the camera. Yeah, I was in so much pain, but got through that. Main takeaways were one, learning that I want to be seen, and expecting or relying on others to see me is, not reliable. You can't do that. And learning that I can lean on God, I can lean on the creator, the universe, whoever it is, and know that, like, hey, the work I'm putting in, the effort, the things I'm doing like this, such as filming a podcast, a lessons episode, and being disciplined, these things are going seen. They're not going unseen. Um, and when I realized that, hey, like the universe sees me, sees what I'm doing, it's like a sort of game. Like even if you play a game and a random NPC dies, a random pig in the game dies, that that pig dying and expiring it's in the code. So in the code of the game, you can see that at this time and date, this pig died. So I think similar to that, whatever you do gets recorded, gets seen. Um, and just realizing that, okay, like if I can rely, and I know that God sees me, I know the universe sees me, I know the shadow me, shadow Andy sees me. There's all different words for probably the same thing. I no longer need to prove myself or try to be seen by others. I no longer need to crave that approval, crave that recognition from other people, crave that affirmation from others. I get it from God Himself. And I guess God also then gets me through me. He gives out affirmations to other people, all my friends around me. I'm always complimenting them, always giving them positive affirmation, making sure they feel seen. And that's probably God's way of making them feel seen through me. So that's probably a quick recap, probably like the main recap over the last week. That's probably the biggest recap, actually. But I actually had 32 freaking notes written down. We'll go through them slowly. I know last call I was rushed, like went through them like quickly. I think I was pretty exhausted afterwards. So today I think I want to just take it at my own pace. It's Mother's Day. I woke up early, 6 hours of sleep because I had dinner with friends last night. Um, so I got home late, slept late. But yeah, woke up early, made mum some Gordon Ramsay styled scrambled eggs. Made sure she felt seen, made sure my sister felt seen. Gave my other sister a call. Did that in the morning. So I'm doing my thing. I'm just like feeling of the feeling of like I'm putting in the work. Lord, I'm putting in the work. Hopefully he sees it. He sees it. Um, and the fact that he sees it makes me feel really good. Like I was talking to myself yesterday, maybe to God, and like wondering like, hey, like what if I'm just talking to myself this whole time? What if no one is freaking listening? And I'm just talking to myself and there's no such thing as God. One, if that worst case scenario is true, at least I'm getting that feeling of relief. Two, I'm getting a feeling of someone has my back and someone's out to look out for me. Three, placebo. So because of those three things, it's worth talking to God and having a conversation with God, whether He is there or not. And it's worth having faith that He's there. Because the act of having faith is good for the heart. So, yeah, let's jump into the 32. Number one, hanging out with talented people has motivated me to level up so much. Just being surrounded by friends that are much older, people who are physically gifted, talented, smart, charismatic, caring, like it's forced me to get to that next level. Like naturally, I am pretty fit. Naturally, I am pretty nice, kind, caring, there for others. But they also are the exact same thing. So it's forced me to take all those things I mentioned to the next gear, be even more there for other people, be even more, start working on my fitness and really leveling that up and getting into like calisthenics. And I want to get a planche going. So the people around me, like it's crazy. Like I've gotten into running just because I see everyone around me run. I'm like, man, I can't keep up with these people, even though I'm like physically pretty strong and mindset pretty strong. Like I just can't run as fast as these people. And it's like forced me to like, all right, let's put some time aside and let's start running and let's try keep up with these guys. Let's at least get to a 5 minute pace. And then I could sort of put my foot off the pedal and I have that muscle memory kick in. And I'll be fine. Number two, if you're present and enjoying the moment, time flies much slower. So even if I'm short on time and I have so many things going on, if I'm just more present with every single moment, like if I'm really present with myself now, the experience of time slows down. So like Tim Ferriss talks about not focusing on trying to be more productive and getting more time, but learning to experience more time. So that's pretty cool. Um, 2.5, random note. Like right now, I have a ton of messages on my Instagram that I want to open. Like it's crazy. Sometimes I go through dry spells where I'm just reaching out to people, not I'm getting no replies. And I go through periods where I'm just getting a ton of replies. But I guess it's sort of one after another. It's sort of the chicken and the egg. If I reach out to a ton of people, then in 1 or 2 days, I'll get a lot of messages back. A lot of them are delayed. I reply to those messages and it creates this, and then they take a long time to reply. So it's like this back and forth of like messaging, receiving messages. It's always going to be ebbs and flows. You're always going to be receiving a ton because you can only answer them at your own pace. And you're always going to get a bunch of no responses because people, you have to wait for people to answer at their own pace. So being present and accepting that flow, yeah. But I guess that flows into number three. If I'm not happy with a crappy reply, or if I'm not happy with someone not replying, is because I'm not in a self-loved, fulfilled state. So if I do feel like, man, like I'm a bit like sad that this person is ignoring me, look inwards and see why I'm feeling that. Like maybe it's a feeling of loneliness. Okay, where's that feeling of loneliness come from? Okay, it's because I haven't been focusing and nurturing that relationship with God. So focus on that. If I focus on that, I'm not gonna really be hurt if someone doesn't reply to me or doesn't really care about my message. Number four, busy people are busy doing similar things each week. Okay, so I've noticed that I have a lot of busy friends, but like they're busy doing the exact same thing every single week. So like they're not busily doing new things. So it's like my schedule, not trying to boast, but I'm always sort of trying to like fill my schedule with like new things. Like each week I'm doing new activities. It's usually not repetitive at all. So I'm busily organizing and doing new things. Um, and I need to remind myself that. Like two realizations I've had. Like one, I'm busily organizing things, not busily saying yes and being invited to things. The first option is just way more difficult, way more harder, way more socially draining, but it's way more rewarding in the long run. I think, if I'm gonna continue this relationship with the universe and God, it's like this is good training. Like if you're like I can see myself, I can so see myself at 30 and being able to put together like rallies for like a good cause or something. I can so see that happening. And now I'm just putting in the legwork. But yeah, that's number four. Well, I do want to slow this down because I don't want to be just knocking through the 32. Like, I want to have fun while doing these episodes with you guys. It's like it's with the thing with YouTube and podcasting, you're so obsessed with filling in the gaps, having high retention, back to back, no pauses. And as a result, I'm scared to be like, hey, let's take 5 deep breaths together. Just get present in this beautiful moment. Realize how lucky we are to be alive and breathe. How lucky we are for oxygen. I'm so lucky to be in a country where water and oxygen is abundant. So lucky for the weekends because the weekends allows me opportunities like this where I can just take things a bit more easy, rest and recover. I'm so appreciated for this like lessons podcast. This is such a like I love this so much. I really appreciate Ed for giving me this idea, helping me come up with this idea. Obviously, I know there's a lot of credit due to past Andy and everything I've done that allowed me to just take action and make this happen really quickly. But yeah, catalysts can never be gone unseen. Number five. The other last Tuesday, 5 days ago, I was picking mushrooms. My friend taught me how to pick mushrooms. A friend of a friend, I met him for the first time. It ended up being a great sort of day. But man, picking mushrooms, avoiding the poisonous ones, looking for the ones that are edible, it felt so innate. Like it felt so natural and it felt so innate in us. Like now I understand, I think they've done studies, like farmers are the most happiest people. Like we are innately hunters and gatherers, and being in nature, touching sort of mushrooms, trees, plants, seeing mushrooms that haven't sort of opened up yet, leaving it there so it can open up and spore, finding mushrooms that you aren't too sure are edible or not, and letting go of your pride and ego and sort of letting it go. Like this, it was just so, it was such a good and healthy experience. Shooting me like getting like a bit less than 6 hours of sleep. I am like a bit down and tired, and I'm letting those feelings flow through me. Just really feeling as I'm talking rather than sort of going on autopilot and checking through the remaining 27 dot points I have. I'm really just sitting here and being present with how I feel and trying to be less of a people pleaser. Because as a people pleaser, I want to give you guys the most value. And that means knocking through the 32 things as quickly as possible. That means keeping my eyes open so you guys can get eye contact with me. That means elevating my energy. But all those things that I would do to people please would hurt me. Like I'm just in a more slower state today. Like I feel more comfortable with my eyes closed because my eyes were heavy. I don't want to rush through all the notes I've written. I want to be focused on being present. That's a good thing about this series. Like each episode is going to have its own unique DNA to it. So it's fine. If no one likes this, no one enjoys this, that's okay. I'd be keen to see the clips that come from this. I'd be keen to see what AI can do. Okay. Number six. I had these like visions of when I was younger. I used to play this game called Maple Story. And it was just, I had this youthful freedom at that time period of my life where there was no responsibility. I felt free. I was on a mission to level up. It was so fun. I loved meeting people. I was grinding. I was working on my character, building him up, making him stronger, putting in the work, learning new skills. And I realized that, hey, like, there's a direct parallel of that to life. I think in the game, when you get hit and hurt, you don't actually feel it. Your in-game character takes on all the pain and exhaustion, and you don't actually feel it. But that is true to life, where like I'm going through life right now. I'm grinding, I'm putting in the work, I'm learning things. At the same time, I'm having fun socializing, meeting people. I'm meeting random strangers that I come by. Like there's strong parallels between that youthful period of me playing that game to me right now in my mid 20s. So I want to really bring that mindset over. It's hard because when you're grinding and you're tired and exhausted, you really feel it when you're doing it in real life. But when playing the game, you don't. Oh man, my eyes are getting puffy and tired. All right, number seven. I don't know how this thought came to be. I think I might have eaten a mushroom or something. But I was like, man, like if I was stuck in a prison, like a four by 4 meter cell for 20,000 years. Let's say you can live that long. I'd be so bored and I'd want to die. Now, the parallel to the parallel and metaphor is that, hey, like in our current life, we live in this sort of small ball called Earth, this small ball that's floating in the galaxy, but we're constrained to to Earth. And very similar situation. If we could live for 20,000 years, we'd want to die. So we've been gifted and blessed with the opportunity to experience this life without any memory of experiencing this in the past, have an amazing run at it, and then pass away at age 70, 80, 90, 100. Like, how lucky are we to experience this floating ball? And how lucky are we to have like a time frame so that we are forced to appreciate it? And how lucky are we that we can die instead of pass on and not be stuck? Because if you were stuck for 20,000 years, I can see how you'd get pretty depressed inside. You'd feel locked and trapped on Earth. Number eight, sort of as I've been going broke and running out of money, I remember like telling myself like, hey, like I haven't been in this much pain any like in a long time. Like this has been so stressful. Like I'm bleeding out. Like, man, this sucks. And I realized I was like I thought I never had gone through this before, but dude, when I first started my dropshipping journey, the same thing happened when I was 18. I was like just running out of money, just bleeding through money. I was pretty stressed then. Nearly lost all the money I saved up. Same when I was like 20. When I was in America, I was just spending all my money on rent and food. I was running out of money there. Even when I was like 16, 15, when I was buying and selling clothes, I was like in the red for quite some time. So I've always been in the red. I guess this time, like, well, I get in all those situations, I went near zero. So I can't really say, hey, this is the first time I've gone near zero. In all those circumstances, I've gone near zero. So it's fine. Shouldn't stress. I shouldn't worry. Things are going to work out. I've been through this before and it's going to happen again. So I might as well just enjoy it and take it easy. Man, my eyes are like struggling to open up. That's how tired I am. But I'm present and I'm grateful and I'm blissful at the same time. Being a leader means people are calling me, reaching out to me when they're down and they need someone to talk to. But when I'm down, I send a few friends messages, calls, and they sort of can't get back to me because likely they're sort of dealing with their own unique situation and their own problems. And I'm sort of left to like deal with my problems all on my own. But now I realize not anymore. Like I have God watching over me and I'm going through these problems with Him. But prior to that, like, yeah, like this is what it takes to be a leader. A leader is someone that has a relationship and conversation with the universe, with God, with earth, with the God from within. A leader is someone that gives advice. Like you don't see Moses going to his disciples asking for advice and help or sharing when he's stressed. Like when Jesus is stressed, he doesn't go to his apostles and complain and vent. And that's something I sort of mistakenly did. Like I remember going to one of my close friends and being like, "Man, I'm feeling like I was in so much pain last night." One, I totally did not get the support or the answer I was looking for because if my friends had the sophistication of being able to read the situation and give me the advice I would have needed, then they'd be where I am. And two, it sort of didn't really solidify myself as a leader. Now it's like, damn, like, is Andy someone that we can go to when he has advice? So like if I really want to be like a vessel for God, like I'm gonna have to be strong. And I gotta be strong for others. That doesn't mean I can't be vulnerable and honest. That's definitely there. I just can't be seeking help from from the people that I know can't give it. Like I know when I'm down and out, like calling my mentors, calling some friends, like unless they're me, unless they're God, like they're not going to be able to help me with what I need at that time. The only way I can go through is with myself and with God, with Shadow Andy. Trust that the universe and the ether around me is looking out for me. Put love into the room so that when I need it, the room can give me love and the room sees me. I'm so tired. Wow. I can't open my eyes. But when I'm close my eyes, I'm fine, to be honest. Right now, I'm at a phase where I hate texting and I like calling. But all my friends hate calling and they love texting. But I feel like in a year's time, it's gonna switch around where they're gonna get in a mood of calling, connecting with people, just like, like my mum calls all her friends each night and they just chat over the phone for hours and hours. Ugh. That's gonna happen, but by then I'm gonna transition to text only. Just like Tony, who never, my older mentor that never picks up my phone calls. Like I'm probably gonna convert to text only. I'm gonna make that transition so I can be in sync. I'd always be two steps of everyone else, two steps ahead of everyone else, so I can be in sync. And then I guess when I'm like in my mid 30s, I'll probably be like down to start calling people again. And I think by then they'd be transitioning to where I'm at now, where they want to call people. Yeah, I'm tired. Hopefully you guys, or whoever's listening, you guys, I guess if you guys made it this far, you're sort of a fan of my content. So let's just sit in silence together with your eyes closed. God is telling me that, hey, this was a good session. No need to push it further. You got a solid 30 minutes in. You did another 30 minutes sort of 2 days ago. Um, let's end it here. And he's telling me to give some gratitude. So I want to thank you guys if you're listening. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening and making me feel seen. I want to make sure that, hey, I see you if you're listening to this. You're amazing. You got this. Fact that you're listening to this means we're on the same wavelength. And if that's the case, I know you're gonna crush it. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.